Amy Carter had mastered the art of becoming invisible. Every morning at 6 a.m., she tied her blonde hair into a simple ponytail, put on her faded café uniform, and stepped into the crowded dining room of Riverside Café. Within minutes, the rush would begin. Coffee orders, breakfast plates, impatient customers, complaints, demands. Most people never looked directly at her. They saw the uniform, the name tag, the tray in her hands. But they never saw Amy. To them, she was simply the waitress. The girl refilling coffee. The girl wiping tables. The girl who would probably spend her entire life doing exactly that. At least, that's what they assumed. What they didn't know was that every night after work, Amy studied medical textbooks. Every spare dollar she earned went into a savings account labeled nursing school. It wasn't much. Some weeks she could only afford to deposit $20. Other weeks $50. But she never missed a week. For 6 years she had been saving. 6 years of sacrifices. 6 years of saying no to vacations. No to expensive clothes. No to almost everything. Because she had a dream. And dreams were expensive. Especially when you were alone. Amy's father had passed away when she was 19. Her mother died 2 years later after a long illness. The hospital bills consumed nearly everything her family owned. By the age of 22, Amy found herself completely on her own. No financial support. No safety net. No wealthy relatives waiting to help. Just a tiny apartment and a mountain of responsibilities. Most people in her position would have given up on bigger ambitions. Amy refused. She worked double shifts. Covered weekends. Picked up holiday hours whenever possible. She smiled even when her feet hurt. She remained polite even when customers were rude. And unfortunately, many of them were. One Friday afternoon, a businessman in an expensive suit snapped his fingers at her from across the room. Not waved. Not called politely. Snapped. Like she was a dog. "Hey," he barked. "My coffee is cold." Amy immediately walked over. "I'm sorry, sir. I'll bring you a fresh cup." The man rolled his eyes dramatically. "You people can never get anything right." Several customers laughed. Amy forced a smile. Inside, it hurt. Not because of the coffee, but because moments like that happened every day. People spoke to her in ways they would never speak to their coworkers, or their friends, or anyone they respected. Yet she kept smiling, because she needed the job, and because she refused to let bitter people turn her bitter too. Her manager often noticed. "You're too nice," he told her one evening. "They don't deserve it." Amy laughed softly. "Maybe not. Then why do you keep doing it?" She looked around the cafe. At the elderly couple sharing pie. At the college students studying in the corner. At the exhausted nurse drinking coffee before her night shift. "Because sometimes people are having the worst day of their lives," she said. "And I don't know which ones." The manager shook his head. "You see the best in everyone. Someone has to." Days turned into months. Months turned into years. The routine never changed. Until one rainy October evening. The storm had arrived suddenly. Dark clouds swallowed the sky. Rain hammered the windows. Thunder echoed through downtown. Most customers hurried home before the weather worsened. By 8 p.m., only a handful of people remained inside the cafe. Amy was wiping down tables when the front door opened. An older man stepped inside. Maybe 70 years old. Maybe older. His dark coat was soaked from the rain. Water dripped onto the floor as he slowly approached a table near the window. Something about him looked familiar. But Amy couldn't place it. He sat alone. Ordered black coffee. Nothing else. For nearly an hour, he simply stared out the window. Watching the rain. Thinking. Waiting. Amy checked on him several times. Each time he thanked her politely. That alone made him memorable. Most customers barely noticed servers. This man looked her in the eye every time he spoke. Around 9 p.m., the cafe was nearly empty. Amy was carrying clean dishes toward the kitchen when she heard something crash. The sound was loud enough to freeze the room. She turned immediately. The older man had fallen from his chair. His coffee cup shattered across the floor. For a second, nobody moved. Several customers stared. One woman screamed. A man near the entrance pulled out his phone. But nobody knew what to do. Amy dropped the dishes and ran. The man's face had turned pale. His breathing was shallow. His eyes were struggling to stay open. The room erupted into panic. "Call 911. Someone help him." "Oh my God." Amy's heart pounded. But her mind became strangely calm. Years earlier, she had taken emergency first aid classes while preparing for nursing school. Most of it had seemed theoretical at the time. Now it was suddenly real. Terrifyingly real. She knelt beside him, checked his pulse, looked at his breathing. The situation was serious. Very serious. The man tried to speak, but no words came out. Only a weak gasp. Amy realized something immediately. Every second mattered. And if she made a mistake, the man might not survive. The entire cafe watched, waiting, frozen. Amy took a deep breath. Then she made a decision. A decision that would change both of their lives forever.